Hey guys, long time no see, how's it going? It's Just Stone here with another video. So today I was just thinking about like what's going on with the WWE right now and just my thoughts. So I thought I'd put it into a video. It's been a while, don't do a lot of wrestling videos, so I thought let's give my opinions or just my random thoughts on where I see what the WWE is doing right now and where they might be going. So of course this past Sunday we did see the Royal Rumble for 2019, and if you don't know already, this video is probably going to spoil it for you, so you should probably go somewhere else now, although I'd love you to stay and watch the video. So yeah, Seth Rollins won the men's Royal Rumble. It was kind of predicted. It was a lot of talk about it was out there a long time ago that he was going to win the Royal Rumble. And yeah, I mean, you know, it was kind of what we all expected really, no real big surprises. But to be honest, part of me feels like I'm happy with this, to be honest. So I would imagine that there's always talk about Brock Lesnar's going to be leaving, going over to UFC. That's sort of like inevitable right now. And to me, it just feels like Seth Rollins is probably the ideal candidate to take the title off Brock Lesnar and probably have like a pretty good run with it. Although the WWE finally got what they wanted with making Roman Reigns the champion, when was that, back at SummerSlam, I think it was. I do apologise if I'm wrong. But of course, with things outside of wrestling that happened to him dealing with his illness, he had to relinquish the title and they went back to Brock Lesnar being the champion. So it's sort of like they were back to square one. And apart from Roman Reigns, I think Seth Rollins is the person that most of the fans, at least in the arenas, connect with. And I think he's a good choice to like finally make the step up and take the title from Brock Lesnar and, like, you know, bring the title back to WWE TV week in, week out. So as one member of the Shield goes on to big success potentially with the WWE, maybe another one does as well, but away from the WWE, because it's actually come out now that apparently Dean Ambrose has decided not to renew his contract past the end of April. WWE, I saw, actually put out a statement saying that Dean Ambrose is not going to renew his contract at past April. So I would imagine, you know, everyone's going to speculate. There's been no official confirmation yet whatsoever, especially since Dean Ambrose doesn't use social media and all that sort of stuff. You would imagine that he'd probably go to AEW. Now AEW, I don't know a lot about, not a great fan of the indie scene, just that I don't have the time to follow it. But it's sort of headed up by Cody Rhodes and, who is it, the Young Bucks, I think. I do apologise, I don't really know their names. I do know who they are though. I saw them in TNA some years ago and they were really good, and I know that WWE have been trying to sign them for quite a while, but it just hasn't happened. Yeah, so they've got some like good talent going there. They've got Chris Jericho, a big legend within the wrestling business, and you would imagine that Dean Ambrose is probably going to go there, just because I imagine the AEW guys are going to sort of, you know, give their talent creative freedom and stuff. And word is that Ambrose doesn't like all the sort of weird stuff that he's been doing with WWE. And it's been a big disappointment. When he finally turned heel, you thought, oh yes, like Ambrose has the quality to be a good heel. But just some of the stuff he's been given to work with, like his major points is like he doesn't want to get germs from the WWE audience or things like that. It just hasn't clicked. So to be honest, I'm not really surprised that he's going to be leaving. Once I heard rumblings that he might be leaving, I just thought, so, you know, it's only a matter of time, and it looks like it's going to happen. So not like Dean Ambrose is ever going to watch this video, but I wish him all the best with, not to quote WWE in a negative way, but the best with his future endeavours. Yeah, I like Ambrose, and I'm just disappointed it hasn't sort of worked out for him in the WWE. Especially because that's the only sort of wrestling promotion that I do watch or have the time to watch. Yeah, it's going to be sad. Yeah, I just wish him all the best with that. So something strange to come out of the Royal Rumble was the fact that Nia Jax entered the men's Royal Rumble, and not only did she beat up the guys beat her up. Now that was a big surprise, considering it's been many years since they sort of had, especially like sort of the guys beating up the women like they did in the Attitude Era, sorry. I know that Stephanie McMahon at WrestleMania does take a bump here or there, and, you know, like that's probably like, although it's you know, it might be striking to see, we do kind of expect it now. So this one, with Nia Jax getting beaten up, she got like the RKO and the 619, and I think a super kick from Dolph Ziggler, and maybe something else. It was quite like, whoa, what the hell was going on? But apparently today it's sort of like, the WWE is deciding to mix things up. They want to possibly, I've heard, promote intergender like matches again. And this sounds pretty good, just in the sense that, like, you know, I was a fan of the Attitude Era, so when, you know, you gotta be careful what I say here, but it was quite entertaining sometimes, or at least, like, you know, would you say inspiring? Like, for example, China was apparently wanting to wrestle the men because she thought, you know, she wanted to make the step up from just wrestling the girls all the time, and of course the girls didn't have great matches back then or a massive roster. I'm quite a fan of this, but I suppose it has to be done in the right context. If it doesn't sort of make sense, like, oh, for example, someone just goes and like beats up one of the women wrestlers, it doesn't make sense, and it could take an ugly twist on things, especially from, like, you know, the way we all have to be politically correct these days. You know, that's fair enough, but sometimes things can go overboard. So it's a risky move, and it'll be interesting to see how they go about doing this and if they are going to stick with it. Otherwise, there's talk, apparently a load of the talent on the WWE roster are sort of asking for their release. Maybe they're thinking this AEW promotion can pick up some steam. Because, to be honest, the WWE roster, when they first started signing all these, like, you know, talents that were in promotions like TNA and New Japan Pro Wrestling, things like that, it was like, this is amazing. Like, for example, I always wanted to see Samoa join the WWE, but if I'm brutally honest, since he made that step up from NXT, it just hasn't gone his way. It's like they don't have anything for him, and I feel he's been really wasted. So he's just one person I'm going to pick out of the bunch. I think the roster's just too big. It seems like they've just gone overboard. They've signed up everyone, and it seems like there's no clear picture. Like, they still stick to their favourites. So, for example, I'm going to bring his name up again, Roman Reigns. I suppose Seth Rollins, even though he's a good worker. Drew McIntyre coming back. I'm a big fan of Drew McIntyre, but, you know, I'm sure there's some people that are kind of annoyed, like, oh, I've been trying to bust my ass, you know, working every week and that, but it's like the WWE have their favourites and other people get overlooked. That's a whole big other discussion that goes on for ages. But yeah, there's just too many people now. So many people are, you know, getting overlooked or not getting a chance. And yeah, it's just a big mess. And so my point from this is going on to WrestleMania. Apart from the Universal title match between Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins, and the women's title match between, at the moment, Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey. I mean, I don't really know what else there's going to be. I suppose they were sort of teasing at SmackDown 1000 Triple H and Batista, but of course Triple H picked up that injury at the WWE World Cup. And I don't know if he's going to be ready to go. I would love to have seen Batista enter the Royal Rumble. I know that was a long shot, but you know, I wondered if maybe, I don't know how far off in-ring action Triple H is. Would they have done a sort of angle at Royal Rumble, maybe between somehow Batista and Triple H, if they were going to do that match at WrestleMania? I'd still like to see that, because Batista just cracks me up. He's really funny, and he seems like he's being quite successful with the acting now. And it seems like he does have a real passion for wrestling still. You know, he's still a good fan. And it would be good to see him again at WrestleMania, and, you know, I'd like to see him fight Triple H, to be honest. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really know what they're going to do with WrestleMania. Normally after Royal Rumble, it's like the time to get really excited, but I don't really have the time to watch the weekly shows these days. And just reading what happened, it doesn't look all that exciting at the moment. I know it's like, it was literally this Sunday just gone, but nothing seems clear at the moment. That's what I'm trying to get at. So I don't really know what they're going to do. It seems like there's too many people. Maybe there'll be some releases after WrestleMania. Yeah, just sort of watch the space, I guess. Anyway, guys, that's just my general thoughts about the WWE at the moment. Hopefully I can sort of make a regular thing out of this, but I don't want to make too many promises, because I keep saying that, oh, there'll be a new video again soon. But anyway, yeah, feel free to let me know what your thoughts are, if you agree with me, or if you can add some angles on what I've said. You can hit me up on Twitter, that's Just Stone. I think it is, I haven't used it for ages. But yeah, you know, the comment box below, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching. And hopefully, here I go saying it again, hopefully I'll see you again sooner rather than later. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Take care, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.